The more wet it gets out here, the more dangerous it's going to become.
Yeah.
The more wet it gets out here, the more dangerous it's going to become.
Welcome to week 2 of the XFL, where we're starting to get an idea of who's who and which teams are clearly better and worse than the rest.
King. King will keep it. Throws! What a catch! Ethan Wolf, the tight end.
Week 2 for Spring League football is always a little rough because the curiosity factor drops and the high from the attention of week 1 dwindles. But if you want to see what the best and worst plays, players, moments, and whatever else from the XFL week 2, you're in the right place here on That's Good Sports. I did want to say thank you to everyone who watched the week 1 episode. That video destroyed, just did numbers. So thank you. Do it again, please, or I will feel like a failure. Today's episode, though, is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek has been downloaded over 28 million times. That's a lot, unless we're talking about annual salaries for NFL quarterbacks. Just because a lot of people download something, though, doesn't make it good. Well, SeatGeek is also the #1 rated ticketing app, which is an incredible feat when you have that many people using the app. My wife, Jess, actually wants to go courtside to a Nuggets game, so I'll be looking into how much that'll cost me soon. And I might get my writing partner, Will Keys, out here for a Nuggets-Kings game in April, and SeatGeek is the only way I'm going to get my tickets. The green dots in the app let you know when a ticket is a good deal. Plus, every ticket is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee, and it's the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. SeatGeek really has thought about all the small things. Wait, oh yeah, Blink-182 is going on tour soon. So, use my code ThatsGood and you're gonna get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Let's start with the best coach who is sick of his players. Terrell Buckley didn't hold back in criticizing his Orlando Guardians.
How do you change this momentum?
We got to get different guys in there. Obviously, I got guys out there that are not competing, that are not making plays. So we got to get people in there, young men that want to play.
And he's got good reason to do it. His defense got torched while his 2 QBs, Paxton Lynch and DeAndre Francois, couldn't do shit to keep up on the other side of the ball. Orlando has had a missed kick, a punt blocked, and managed to commit 13 penalties, a number that would make even Nathaniel Hackett blush. My best, most improved team is going to the San Antonio Brahmas, who if you keep winning, I'll take you to the Bahamas, where we'll eat some llamas. That's all I can think of that rhymes with Brahmas. Following a 3-point loss to the Battlehawks in week 1, San Antonio got their first win against the hapless Guardians. It was the Brahmas passing game and defense, including a pick by Anthony Texada. No, I did not make up that name. That propelled them to their first ever victory, and that leads me to the best quarterback this weekend, Jack Cohn, who went from a very pedestrian start last week to a 3-touchdown performance on Sunday. 3 TDs for Jack Cohn. I call that the 3-cone drill. Now, he didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he had the best yards per attempt at 6.9 of any passer this week and was safe with the ball, even adding a couple nice plays with his legs. My favorite touchdown pass of his was his first to Dion Yeller, who was not put down at the end of this one. And the touchdown was indeed followed by yelling.
Down, San Antonio, Dion Yelder.
Okay, so his last name is Yelder, but I still went with that terrible bit anyway. Say what you want, but I fucking commit. Fine. Here's a touchdown grab by Jalen Tolliver, followed by the hardest 2-yard throw you'll ever see a man cock back and release. My worst QB? No, I'm not going to give it to Paxton Lynch. Again, that feels mean. He did throw a very easy early TD. I do credit Guardians receiver Eli Rogers for hyping up the catch afterwards.
Just had to catch the ball. That was the hardest part.
After I said last week that Paxton was the first quarterback benched in 3 pro football leagues, Turns out it was actually 4 because I forgot about Canada. Much like Steelers fans wish they could do. Instead, I'm giving the worst QB to his teammate, Francois, who sounds like he also forgot he was French-Canadian and managed to complete 6 passes for a grand total of just 8 yards. Even Sam Darnold threw for more than 40 in that video I did when he won, completing only 5 passes. He did, however, have a great soundbite when he told his offensive lineman to
Still belly left. Act 2. Still belly left. Shut the fuck up, y'all. Listen.
Worst, whatever you call this kick. It's fitting that Pedialyte is sponsored in the background of this play because that kicker probably got hammered to forget about this ever happening. Now, I think the XFL needs to allow point after kicking attempts. I get that the leagues are trying to encourage more exciting 2- and 3-point plays, but I think it's hurting the kicking game a bit. The Vipers and the Guardians haven't even made a field goal yet, and I think kicking PATs helps kickers get into kicking rhythm and, find their footing. Honestly, though, it's probably not even Bailey Giffen's fault for slipping, which leads me to the worst field, the Vipers field, which leaves a lot to be desired, like being a professional football field. And I know there's probably a cost savings angle to which fields these teams are able to play on. And as someone rooting for the XFL, as someone who thought week 1 was a huge success, the presentation here is important. And this just looks amateur. The conditions match the presentation, making Super Bowl 57 in Arizona look like the pinnacle of groundskeeping. A rain game in the desert was rough on the Vipers, as was another solid performance by the defenders. They got veteran QB Luis Perez benched after he started the game 1 of 5 for 0 yards. Brett Hundley, Packers legend, came in and found 98 yards through the air in wet conditions. That was 5 more passing yards than Jordan Te'amu had on the day on the other side, who is now 2-0 without throwing for more than 100 yards in a game this season. My best ball carriers, the defenders. One person was definitely able to find traction in Vegas, and that was Defenders gadget QB D'Eriq King, who rushed 4 times for 38 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion in the DC victory. He was a key playmaker for them last week as well, and I love how they are using him. Abram Smith averaged 6.5 yards per carry, also scored a rushing tud. The Defenders have established their identity as a run-first team. Maybe the only team that can consistently run the ball in the league right now, carrying it a total of 42 times for 229 yards and a pair of scores. The only 2 touchdowns they needed to take care of the Vipers, who appear to be venomless. Jordan Te'amu had a nice day rushing as well. And even though D'Eriq King is the red zone TD hound, Te'amu, Rykel Armstead, and Abram Smith are the 3 of the 5 top rushers in the league through 2 weeks. In fact, the Defenders are 2-0 and have yet to throw a passing touchdown on the season. And I love Jordan Te'amu, but it might be time to insert King as the full-time starting QB. Te'amu, through 2 games, has been one of the worst passers in the league. Paxton Lynch gets all the heat, but Lynch, on 2 fewer attempts, 39 to Te'amu's 41, has more completions, more passing yards, and 2 touchdowns to his name. My worst play? They probably could have had 3 rushing touchdowns if they hadn't done this at the goal line. And that's all I'm going to say about this game, because looking at that field, I'm getting flashbacks of high school, and I cannot relive senior year, where I was voted most likely to be really good at giving head for a straight guy. What does that even mean? And why the hell would they allow that to be printed in my high school yearbook? Best for the love of the game goes to AJ McCarron, who revealed his reason for playing in the XFL instead of taking a backup job in the NFL for more money.
Ever since I came out of college, I've been kind of counted out a little bit. And, it's just fun to come out here and play. I miss playing. I love playing. And, this is special, and I can't thank the XFL enough. It's been awesome.
I think it's really cool, and it gets to the heart of what the XFL offers, a chance for talented football players to get on the field and not just collect a paycheck and hold a clipboard. And it's also cool now that AJ, the kind of AJ Tony Soprano would actually be proud of, is undefeated through 2 games. McCarron played his best in both wins with the game on the line. That's why he also gets my best throw award. Fourth quarter, down by 1, AJ McCarron stands tall and he fires this ball to Hakeem Butler, one of the best receivers in the league right now, for a lead-taking touchdown pass, only to get blasted by Trey Walker. Hakeem Butler, a former 4th-round pick by the Arizona Cardinals, battled injuries for 2 years, looked like the best athlete on the field on this play. Unfortunately for the Seattle Sea Dragons, their second late-game loss gives them my worst Team with a Lead award. Dragons quarterback DiNucci leads the XFL in passing yards, and unfortunately the most costly and untimely fumbles. He then orchestrated an impressive lead-taking drive, hitting Josh Gordon in the middle of the field, followed by a great touchdown pass in the back of the end zone to Jordan Veazey, a former wideout for the Bills, Raiders, and Texans, all with the game on the line. It did not faze the Battlehawks, who get my best finish award. $1:21 left on the clock. McCarron goes to work, crosses midfield with a completion to George Campbell, and then it's receiver Austin Prohl in the clutch again, sneaking into field goal range with just 3 seconds on the clock. And the game-winning kick here was pretty fun. Battlehawks kicker Donald Hagman missed a 50-yarder just a series or 2 earlier. The screen has shots of both head coaches for their live reactions, which I think the NFL needs to do. And from 44 yards, Hagman hits his 3rd field goal of the season, and Jim has let the Seattle fans down again while Battlehawks head coach Anthony says, "Bitch, please get out of the way, we're on our way to 2-0. The Dragons, though, may have the best group of ball catchers in the XFL. Jahcour Pearson and Blake Jackson currently lead the league in receptions, while Josh Gordon is averaging over 15 yards per catch. Pearson's 78 yards were the best of the weekend. The Dragons could easily be 2-0. Unfortunately, they're the 2nd worst rushing team in the league right now. They need to fix that to complement a passing game that's working. Also, the orange and green color scheme just looks like sick Christmas. Like Christmas with food poisoning to me. Best defense? Now, even though they gave up 14 points in the second quarter, the Houston Roughnecks defense is proving to be a formidable foe. They dropped poor Drew Plitt 5 times in this game, which was 2 fewer sacks than they had week 1, but the Renegades are a better team than the Guardians, especially at the QB position. Houston also forced 3 turnovers, a fumble, a couple picks, while holding Plitt to just 125 passing yards and 2.3 yards of offense per play for the Renegades. Like De'Aaron King with the defenders, I thought the Roughnecks offensive coordinator AJ Smith did a great job inserting former Hawaii QB Cole McDonald into the lineup, especially in the 3rd quarter on their lead-taking touchdown drive. Brandon Silver's between the 20s and Cole McDonald in the red zone. Just like I suggested in my Tim Tebow season recap video we dropped yesterday. Now, if Cole can come in and connect on a pass every now and then, he will be a real weapon. He was the Roughnecks' leading rusher with 39 yards. At this point, McDonald is a poor man's De'Aaron King. Oh my God, I just admitted King is better than McDonald's. It really is the year of the Whopper, isn't it? Roughnecks main QB Brandon Silvers cleaned up his interceptions this week, throwing none. He threw 2 touchdowns as he led the Roughnecks to a 2-0 record, passing for 173 yards along the way, and he was only sacked once. And for me, the biggest thing I want to see get better in the XFL moving forward, sustained scoring drives for teams on offense. The games are good in that they're close, but they feel second tier still because the reason they're close is the offenses are not consistently good, and it's because the passing game leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, so does the running game. But we need some 250, 300-yard passers every week for people to really get excited about the league. There's a lot working in these spring leagues, but if they really want to thrive, we need to see more touchdowns. more touchdowns consistently through the course of a game, and maybe more bigger play moments to complement those. Thanks for watching the Week 2 recap of the XFL. Again, thank you guys for watching last week's video. I hope your interest stays strong. We'll keep doing these bad boys, and it will get us through the lulls between free agency and the NFL draft.